Well, thank you again for all those that are tuning in onto our collective YouTube channel to listen to my weekly podcast on the coming of this good new world. So this is season one, and this is episode three. So the first one was on new life. The second one last week was on new mathematics, and today is on new commandments. Now, for those who are asking, why do we need new commandments? What's wrong with the old one? Well, there's nothing really wrong with the old one, and I'm just going to share my screen for those that let me share my screen. Bear with me. Okay, so these are the old commandments, which were, historically, obviously, we believe in the biblical story. I got there circa around 1600 BC, where the tablets given to Moses to the children of God, the Israelites, to basically define a moral obligation that humanity should abide with the covenants with God. So I'm just going to read these for those that, well, I'm sure everyone knows about the commandments, but like myself, you may not remember all of them. Hopefully, you abide by them, even though you don't remember them. So the first one is, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Second, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image." Third one, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain." Four, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." Five, "Holy thy father and thy mother." Six, "Thou shalt not kill." Seven, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." Eight, "Thou shalt not steal." Nine, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." And the 10th one, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, nor anything that is thy neighbor." So that is the traditional old commandments. And for those that obviously obey, which we should all, because those are all good principles that we should behave morally good. So why do we need one? Well, those were given, again, if you believe in the biblical story, um, 3,500 or 4,000 years ago to humanity to basically have a covenant with God. But that's 4,000 years ago. Have humanity changed? Well, other than our technology has changed, but in terms of our behaviors, our intellect, probably not. We still have a head, two arms, two legs, and we may have a slightly longer life expectancy, but humanity is still the way it was 4,000 years ago. Some may argue 100,000 years ago. So we still have the primordial instinct, which sometimes good and sometimes is very, very bad. But those covenants was to tell humanity to follow the righteous and good path. And now, in this modern age, man has, through its technology, so man itself may not have changed, but now man is playing its own God, right? So the biblical story say about God creating man as an image. Well, now man has creating Android robots in his image. So I covered this topic in the first episode on New Life. So God is the ultimate creator, but now man is dabbling into that area that we are creating our own, obviously, artificial intelligent life form, building potentially androids and those that fear androids, and they should, because androids could one day, I mean, they already outthink us, they always outplay us in chess and intellect and in everything that you can imagine. The artificial intelligence well, you could say smarter than us. Then if you put that in a robotic frame, then artificial intelligence, again, those that research it, the potential for artificial intelligence to see us, the creator, as a burden upon them can be, catastrophic. So there are people that are describing the threat of our creation harming us, the creator. Now, the beauty of this new commandment, which I have developed under the charter of our collective, is that these new commandments can actually be programmed into the artificial logic of our creation. Now, the old commandments, as I read out there, some of it can, but most of it can't. Most of it related to us humans. And the only program is what we remember in our head and what we feel in our heart, in our soul, which obviously may well have been successful or not successful, depending on how you see, those that obey the covenants or not. But these new commandments, which have, like I said, developed under the charter of our collective, which was started in 2015, was both a covenant between God and humanity, but also a covenant between us, humanity, and our own creation, artificial intelligence. Now, going down the future podcasts, I'll describe how these can be logically programmed into artificial intelligence to protect ourselves from our creation. So I'm going to read the 10 new commandments. I'm not going to specifically go into each one of them. Each one of them should be self-explanatory, just like the old commandments. But each one I will cover in more depth in future podcasts relating to this new commandment. For this particular one, I'm just going to show, again, just bear with me as I share my screen with you, and I'm going to read the 10 new commandments. So, again, so just like the old commandment was 4,000 years, these new 10 commandments was drafted as our collective charter in 2015, the beginning of our collective. So, new commandment 1, we shall seek justice and righteousness within ourselves before we can judge others. 2, we shall allow without dissent for religious worshippers believing in love before hate and freedom before slavery. 3, we shall not commit harm against innocent souls, use force only in defense and without cruelty. 4, we shall not steal the possession of others, be it property or creativity. 5, we shall seek to protect the weak, support the meek, and use our strength and courage to build admiration and not oppression. 6, we shall lead by example and not coercion. Allow for the diversity of all peaceful life without discriminations. 7, we shall not submit falsehood nor make gains through untrue facts and wrongful acts. 8, we shall not needlessly destroy any benevolent creations of humanity or nature. 9, we shall oppose warfare and conquest, and only occupying lands in rightful manners that can be justified by increased work. And 10, we shall continue to seek knowledge and wisdom, for only truth will lead to eternal survival and higher evolution. So those are the 10 new commandments. So those should be self-explanatory, but in future podcasts to come, as I said, the podcast is under these 9 pillars. So we're going to go through each of the 9 pillars that is the foundation of this good new world. So when we cycle back to the new commandment, I will go into more specific detail into each of them. Of course, they are self-explanatory, but I'll explain the logic behind it and why this logic can be programmed into our own humanity's creation artificial. So we're going to be playing our own God. We should be aware that those that we create for the future will basically be our benevolent children and not turn on us and eliminate us because of our own failings. Okay? So again, thank you again for this listening into this podcast. And so this 3 ones are the pillars of art. So I've covered that. So the next one, on the fourth one, will be new exploration, which will be one of the pillars under business. As I mentioned, our collective and this good new world has three pillars: art, business, charity. So we've done the first three pillars of art. Now we're going to go next week, start on the first pillar of business. So much love, much peace to you all, and the Christ our blessing to all of humanity. God bless.